Here, surprising trend. For years, it felt like a substantial fraction of the most impressive tech founders were under 28 or so. In the past few years, very few of them are. What changed? Where are the tech founders? Where are all the young people? What are they up to these days? Are they not building companies anymore? There's tons of companies being built. In fact, young people are richer than ever before. Haven't you seen everybody on YouTube, TikTok, social media, the influencers out there? Hey, tech seems to have just totally ignored these people. And so the problem is most of Silicon Valley is living in their own little tech bubble. He's saying, well, maybe crypto is part of the story. Are people doing that? Some are. Vitalik Buterin, the boy genius, chimes in here. Well, the internet did open up some new low-hanging fruit, but most of that has been picked now. And I think he does have a point there in that most of internet consumption is on apps these days, and you have to be in the top 10 mobile apps. In order to have something, you have to build them cross-platform on Android, on iOS. Maybe you need a website as well. It just takes a lot of effort these days. It takes months maybe of effort to really build something. It takes a team. So unlike in the old days where you could just deploy a quick web app over the weekend or a quick mobile app, these days it takes a lot more effort and there's a lot more competition. But a lot of these comments are still just so focused on this narrow road that is tech, in which there's so many layoffs as well. Here's a question for you. Where do you find the highest value content these days? Like, let's say if you want to learn how to do an oil change, or you want to learn a cooking recipe from a Michelin star chef, or if you want a game strategy, do you download apps for these to learn how to do an oil change or how to cook a really good meal? No, you go onto social media like you watch a YouTube video or a TikTok to learn how to do these things. And you know what? The highest value content, the most important information out there is going to continue to be on these platforms. I'll get into the reason why. But we can also see here another post on Blind where my former colleagues over at Google are complaining that no one in tech is getting rich for another 10 years. They're noting how AR, VR, the tech is too niche, and quite frankly, the hardware limitations just aren't there yet. You've got clunky hardware, low resolutions, and dizziness caused by input lag. Self-driving cars, we're nowhere near mass adoption for that. AI and ML, they're saying, well, the adoption is bottlenecked by the lack of AI ML experts and for clean data. Quantum computing, at least another decade away, and blockchain technology, there's just so much regulation and it's mostly for speculative trading. People are still looking for a good mainstream use case for that. So maybe it's another decade before we see any of this tech actually advancing forward. And so while the engineers are withering away on the streets, poor, begging for food, you've got kids making millions of dollars on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and here we are complaining that there's no more innovation. There's no opportunity. Now, quick pause. This video is brought to you by Pionex, crypto trading bots. No, I'm actually just joking. They just sent me this cool gear, so I wanted to show it off for you. This video is actually sponsored by myself, techinterviewpro.com. If you want to land a job at a top tier tech company, Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, check it out. I'll get you set up, techinterviewpro.com. And then as for Pionex, the #1 crypto trading bot platform who did not sponsor this video, thank you for the hoodie and the hat. I appreciate it. Stop sending me stuff and check them out too if you like Pionex.com. You see, the most valuable operating system in the world today is not Android or iOS or web. It's cross-platform, accessible to anybody, runs on any device, has low barriers to entry such that anyone can create content for it, and it attracts the best talent in the world with the highest value information, and that platform is social media. And all the meanwhile, you've still got people like Sam Altman here. No offense, but his prediction is that the Bay Area will remain the center of gravity of tech for the next decade. Everything is tech. Or what's not tech anymore? You take a look at Mr. Beast. He built this YouTube channel, got an offer for $1 billion and still turned that down. And the reason is this. You see, I used to build mobile games. The goal of a mobile game is not for you to play it, actually. It's not for you to have a fun time. It's actually to get you to watch a bunch of ads. Now, which is easier? I can try to create a mobile game like I used to do, and this is going to take me several weeks of development. Maybe it'll be like a Tetris clone. I have to get the art assets, maybe learn a new programming language here or there, slap some advertisements on there, get it approved by the App Store, and even then it will only be available on, say, iOS. And then I have to try to get this ported over to Android and then on the web as well. And then I have to do all the marketing for it as well, create some videos, posts, articles, get bloggers to write about it, just so people will try to download this thing. Most people don't even want to download apps anymore these days. Or option B, I can just stream a AAA video game like say Elden Ring. I don't even have to make this game. All I have to do is play it and other people want to watch me play it, and then I'll just throw in a sponsorship somewhere in there. And I'll get the same number of ad views for this. So in a way, social media has overtaken a lot of the older parts of app development. And so this is the problem with modern society. You tend to overvalue engineers too much. And I've noticed this myself, in that you think the ability to code is like magic. It's not. We're not wizards. Coding is just trash duct taped together with a bunch of dental floss. And so I saw this tweet here. The top ranks of the Bitcoin community are podcasters and boomers like Saylor. He thinks this is a problem, whereas the top ranks of every other chain are engineers and entrepreneurs. And you know what? Podcasters and the media, I think they're actually far more powerful than engineers. In fact, this is the way the world used to be in, say, the 1950s, in which nobody thought much of engineers. They were just blue collar and everybody idolized the celebrities, the movie stars out there. And so in my view, we're simply reverting back to this norm where star power is greater than, say, nerd power. And, there was this period of time in which the nerds were the only ones with exclusive rights to the internet because nobody else could create content for the internet. We didn't have the infrastructure for this set up yet. So in order to distribute anything on the internet, you had to develop an app or a website, right? This was in the 1990s or 2000s. But now with social media and no-code platforms, well, anybody can distribute content, products, and services on the internet at scale. And so in a sense, maybe engineers are being put back in their place. And I wanted to share a realization I had, which is that nowadays, the most high value, most important information, most valuable knowledge out there is going to be on social media. Now, why is that? It has to do with really the downfall of Facebook and the rise of the follower model, like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And the reason is because the follower model, which is relatively new, allows a content creator to actually kind of own the content and the influence that they create and be able to monetize that and amass their follower count, which has value for people. So for example, let's imagine you had some really good information. Maybe you discovered an alien, and there's just so much to share and so interesting. This is going to be a world-changing information. How are you going to share this? Are you going to go onto, say, Facebook and share it with your friends, and then your friends going to take the content and share it with other people? No, you can't monetize that, right? And you don't get the influence from that. Are you going to go on to, say, Reddit and share this alien under an anonymous account in a subreddit? You could try that, but you're not going to get much out of it. Actually, what you would do is probably create a YouTube channel or TikTok or Instagram or Twitter, and then you could start monetizing that if you like. You would be recognized as an authority on this. People would give you interviews and everybody would recognize you as the person who did this. You would get the credit, actually. So what the follower model really does is it unlocks all of the highly valuable information in people's minds, and it gives them proper incentive to share that. The more valuable the information you share with the world, the more credit and authority and influence you will receive. And so that's the disruption to traditional social media, and why I think older content platforms like, say, Facebook, Reddit, simply cannot compete anymore because their content's no good. They cannot attract high quality, high value content because nobody wants to share their best stuff on these platforms where they're not going to get the credit for it. And the funny thing is, some of these platforms like, say, Reddit, LinkedIn, continue to ban self-promotion. I don't share any of my content on there anymore because they just ban my accounts when I do, and they don't give people credit for anything. Their content, therefore, is mostly just trash content, right? Meaningless, low-value content like funny cat pictures, memes, self-congratulatory posts. I mean, you have to give people some ability to self-promote. If you don't, then I'm not going to share my highest value stuff. And so actually, recently there was this Ask Me Anything session with the Reddit CEO in which he did mention that he wanted their users and moderators to be able to make money. He wanted money to go from users to subreddits. And so really, I think what's happening now is there's this bidding war among the social media platforms for the highest value content. And Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg also admitted how he missed a giant shift in social media trends where, Facebook prioritized friend content, but in reality, he knows here that it's actually somewhat less important who produces the content that you're finding. You just want the best content, and then you can share that with your friends if you like. And the problem here, in my view, is that nobody wants to share their highest value content on Facebook because it's just a social graph and they're not going to get the credit for it. When I was in Japan, I saw a scary vision of the future, and this may be in any major urban city, but I saw a lot of people just sitting around in cafes, live streaming on their phones. And it's just normal people, and they were interacting with like thousands of people on TikTok, Instagram, on these live streams, and it's just these normal people being influencers. And I think we're going to gravitate towards this world where we subdivide into two stratum of people. Okay, you've got the kind of celebrities and the non-celebrities. And the celebrities are going to live this beautiful, luxurious life of ambrosia, nectar, and they're just going to get everything for free. They're going to live in these mansions and drive Lamborghinis all day long and just like eat at the best restaurants, Michelin food. And so we're going to have this celebrity class of people living in these castles in the sky. And then on the ground is going to be all the rest of the riffraff, the poor, hungry engineers just going around eating trash. And essentially the job of these riffraff is to suck on the toes of the celebrity class. And that's just the way the world's going to be. It's got nothing to do with tech. You see, right now, it's really weird actually that Elon Musk, this tech entrepreneur, is one of the most followed people on Twitter. I don't think that's normal actually. In the future, it's just going to be a world full of, say, Kim Kardashians and Justin Biebers, and like the tech people are just going to be nowhere in this. Now, here's a bonus. How are you going to make money in all of this? Actually, I would say I don't think you need to be a creator or celebrity at all. You can actually go one level up in which you become a curator. And I think the curator is perhaps the most important job of all. Right now, we only have a machine learning curator these days, right? It's this machine learning algorithm that just shows you what's on the home feed. But if you're a better curator than that and you can surface good content, then people will follow you for the content that you're able to cover. And I think you'll notice that, you know, these days, some of the best so-called celebrities are not celebrities or content creators themselves. They're actually curators of content. And rather, they gather the interesting insights, information, news, valuable knowledge from across the internet, and then they share that information with you. And so it's actually not their content at all. And in a way, they become the new machine learning algorithm, the homepage of any of these social media apps, which is arguably one of the most high-value services out there. Because the fact is, you don't need machine learning if you have good taste, if you know what people like, okay? But look, coding, tech, it's still cool, okay? If you just want to do your desk job, easy peasy, 9 to 5, safe and stable, you don't have to do the hustle and grind or call yourself some influencer, then yeah, coding is probably the best option out there. And quite frankly, it's probably an excellent plan B, especially if you enjoy sucking on the toes of these celebrities. So that'll do for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. If you liked the video, give a like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.